Hey, this is Logan from Ring the Bell Radio, and we hope you're going to get into our new mini-sode here. We obviously spent loads of time making it, so please have a listen, leave us a comment and a like as well if you liked this mini-sode, of which we spent ages making. Oh, that's my phone vibrating. That means it's time for me to go. Enjoy.
A few weeks back, you talked about your dislike of Hulk Hogan. Do you remember that?
I do indeed, because still
Okay.
to this day it burns passionately in my soul.
Okay. Well, we had a fan give us his opinion on what you thought. Does that make sense?
Oh, okay.
He gave his opinion on what he thought your thoughts were. Let me put it to you that way. Okay. And I have queued up here. I'm going to read you his messages.
Okay.
It's nothing bad. It's not like the hate mail the DJ gets. But what I think I'm going to do first is I have a excerpt from said show where you were talking about your dislike of Hulk Hogan. And like I said, you didn't say anything bad. You were giving your honest opinion why you didn't like him. But what he had to say about was it was involving the Undertaker and Hulk Hogan match.
Okay.
How Hulk Hogan claims the Undertaker hurt him, and the Undertaker wouldn't. And you said the Undertaker's always been very professional and taking care of his opponents. Okay, so I'm going to play a little excerpt from the show, from one of our past shows, where the audience can hear what you said, and then I will read to you this guy's response.
Okay.
To what you said. Okay, so I'm going to put it up on our monitor here, and here we go.
Undertaker, ironically, says this story where he tombstoned
The chair. The chair. I
on the
know.
chair.
You can tell it for the audience. I know what you're talking about.
If you've not seen The Last Ride, Undertaker kind of tells this story, and basically it's, he tombstoned Hulk Hogan onto a steel chair. Now, Mark Calloway, the Undertaker, obviously, is very, very, very into being safe with people. He's a very trusted person to get in the ring with. So for him to feel like he's hurt someone, especially WWE's biggest star, that was like gut-wrenching for him.
He took it hard. He took that hard.
When he went back after the match to see Hogan was laying on the floor like, "Oh, brother, you dropped me on my neck. It hurts so bad." And, Mark's feeling like shit. So later on, he, I guess, goes out to the truck where they do all the videotaping, and he actually watches the tape of him doing the tombstone, and you could see it in, like, you don't even need the slow cut not to see it.
A blind man could see it.
Yeah, anyone could see his head never touched that. So Taker went back to him and was like, "Dude, I didn't drop you on the chair. What are you talking about?" "Oh no, brother, it was the way you were holding me. You were squeezing me too tight." Like, and then as Undertaker said that there showed me what Hulk Hogan is all about.
I remember that. I remember him talking about that.
And it's just, there were so many things. I mean, we could literally do an entire show just talking about how much of a horrible human being Hulk Hogan is. Yeah.
So that was, yes.
Stand by that. And I must say, first of all, what a sexy voice. And secondly, I feel like we just did Ring the Bell Radio Inception.
Okay. So that's what your opinion was. And you said you just stand by that.
Yeah,
Okay. You were just
100%.
quoting what The Undertaker actually said in one of the last ride. I have someone that responded to what you said here. Okay. And they sent it in two different, as I said earlier, two different messages. Okay. So this is from Azine Borgman.
All right, Zine, what's up, my brother?
Okay. And his message says, "This is sad. Undertaker said, in parentheses, I pride myself for not hurting guys, end parentheses. And that's not true. That's a lie from Undertaker because he almost killed Coco Beware with the tombstone in Survivor Series 1990. The match even Bruce talked about. He's talking about Bruce Pritchard. He opened the Great Khali's head with a chair. Also, what he did to Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels back in the Royal Rumble 1998 and to Austin and SummerSlam. If you all saw the tombstone in slow motion, the moment The Undertaker descended onto his knee, you will notice that the head of Hulk Hogan did not descend straightly. In fact, you can see that his neck was bent incorrectly. And this is what's caused the injury. After he admitted that he bullied a poor jobber during a speech at the Hall of Fame, Undertaker has no right to criticize anyone. Lost a lot of respect for the Taker. Okay, that's his first part of the message. Now I will read the second. Undertaker wouldn't dare do anything to Hogan. Hogan stood in front of Scott Hall and Kevin Nash together backstage at Road Wild 1998 when a big fight broke out between them and Hogan and almost used a sharp weapon. There are no more, these are not my words, but rather the words of Kevin Nash, that if Hogan says, and I don't get where he's going with this, but if Hogan says Taker hurt him, then Taker hurt him. I don't think the Taker is telling the truth. Also, the Undertaker is afraid of cucumbers. That's our response to what you had to say.
Okay, so let's unpack that. Okay. So was the first injury Undertaker?
You asking me?
Yeah. Well, in the comment, what did
Okay.
he say, Undertaker?
He said he almost, this is sad. The Undertaker, who prides himself on not hurting guys, is not true. He almost killed Coco Beware with the tombstone Survivor Series 1990.
Okay, so and Taker has actually talked about this as well. It was one of the first few times that he did the tombstone. Coco had never had it done to him either, but Mark takes full responsibility that it happened and it was bad. And he's said, I think it was what's his name, Thingy Rogan. When he was on that, he talked about it. He's talked about multiple podcasts as well about, it was his fault, but him and Coco should have gone through it first of all. He misjudged the weight, the speed, everything. Okay. And it was in the beginning of his career for WWE. So there's a difference. Okay. In fact, you know what? I'll get to that bit in a minute. What's the second one?
Okay. So it was
Great Khali.
Yes, it was Great Khali. He opened up the Great Khali's head with a chair.
I'm sorry, but chair shots are fair game. If you always take a risk when you take a chair to the head, regardless of how safe that other person is being with it. If you want an authentic headshot with a chair, we don't do that anymore, but that's why they don't do it, because there is a risk of brain damage, there is a risk of severe injury, there is a risk of breaking open the skin. So that's a non-starter. I'm not even going to roll with that one. Okay, that's everybody's risk that they take. Next
Next is also what he did to Shawn Michaels back in Royal Rumble 1998
Was
and to Austin in SummerSlam 98.
okay. So Shawn Michaels again, not that Undertaker did it on purpose. It was an off the ropes thing. He flew and clipped his back on the actual coffin.
Yes.
Okay, that's not Undertaker's fault. I'm sorry, but you know, shit happens. Shit happens. It is what
Shawn
it
has
is.
even said, "Oh, when I came out of that, when I got flipped over the ropes and I came out, I clipped the end of that casket."
Yeah, because he didn't
Mhm.
realize how wide the casket was. Because in
Yeah.
those days, it wasn't an actual casket; it was something they built in the back, which was a really exaggerated shape of a casket, and it was huge and super deep. So he misjudged distances. He's claiming, he said it himself. He has no ill will to the Undertaker about it. I mean, shit happens.
Well, look what you're doing. You're professional wrestling. Stuff's going to happen.
Hmm.
Okay, now the second part of this, King, and maybe Barris. If you, I'm trying to remember this. What did the Undertaker do to Austin, or what happened to Austin in SummerSlam '98?
That I
Okay,
don't remember.
yeah, I don't know about any kind of injury there, unless
Me
someone wants
neither.
to go
Off
to
the top of my head, you know me with Undertaker stuff.
yeah, unless someone wants to go to the Google machine here. Um, but that's what this guest or fan is stating in his message. Apparently, Undertaker injured Austin in SummerSlam 1998. I don't know. I'm not aware. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I just don't. Me personally, I just don't remember it. DJ, you say you don't remember.
Mm-mm.
And His Highness, who knows everything about the Undertaker, isn't recalling anything.
Okay, so this is from Austin. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So according to Austin, the first time he was ever knocked out was
Excuse
on
me.
the so-called Highway to Hell pay-per-view, as he inadvertently took a headbutt from the Undertaker. So this is a quote from Austin.
Yeah.
We were out there trying to work our asses off. And prior to that match, I'm not the toughest guy in the world, but I've never been knocked out in my life. And part of the match, I hit the ropes. Undertaker goes for a back drop. I kick him in the chest. He's going to straighten up and no sell it. And when he does, the back of his big ass head hits me right under the chin. And boom, knockout blow. He flashed me. I went down to the mat. I was knocked out. I was only knocked out for maybe 2 or 3 seconds. All of a sudden, I'm laying on the mat with my back in Madison Square Garden. You know,
Okay. So he got knocked out.
I don't know where I am. The referee of the match was El Hebner. Of course, it was El Hebner.
Yeah.
He looks down at me and he kind of has a little grin on his face and goes, "God damn, boy, you all right?" I looked up at Earl and said, "Where am I?" He goes, "God damn it, boy, you're in the garden." So I get up and we continue the match. And one of my biggest disappointments in that match was that we were on our way to a hell of a match before I got knocked out. From that point on, I don't remember the rest of the match. I remember laying on the table. I remember getting on top of the turnbuckle and dropping the leg. And I'm thinking, we kind of talked about it. I don't know if he's going to do it or not, but I was going to stay there anyway because that's what I do. But all of a sudden, that's one of the things I do remember about the match was the Undertaker taking a courageous bump there and dropping that leg off the top turnbuckle. And I'm like, all right, this is going to be interesting. He lands, everything crashes. We finish the match. So again, accidental, not done in malice, you know, not done through lack of wrestling ability, not done through lack of skill, an accident. It just straight up accident. Okay. Now, what was the second part of the comments?
There's one more part here, and I'll get into it because he just goes into how Hogan and
Scott
Hall
okay.
and Nash.
All right,
But
right. So-
let me read this last part. It's about the Hulk Hogan thing. Okay. And so we just talked about the Austin, and it was, as for the Hulk Hogan story, if you all saw the tombstone in slow motion, the moment the Undertaker descended on his knee, you will notice that the head of Hulk Hogan did not descend slightly. In fact, you see that his neck was bent incorrectly, and this is what caused the injury. After he admitted that he bullied a poor jobber during his speech in the Hall of Fame, the Undertaker has no right to criticize anybody. So this guy's claiming you could see that the Taker actually was holding Hogan incorrectly, and he is agreeing with Hogan that he dropped him wrong.
Okay, so let's play this part here. I actually have the show on ready to roll.
Yeah, right.
So give me a second here.
Okay, so we're going to see this for
We're going to
ourselves.
see this for
Okay.
ourselves. Here we go.
Okay. Oh, we're just trying to get this correct here. That's
The
all.
Undertaker damaged his neck. Now, the finish of the match between Hulk Hogan and The Undertaker at 1991 Survivor Series saw The Undertaker capture the WWE
don't know
title
them.
for the first time.
Okay. Nowhere near.
Yeah, and
Taker
that
would
was
win the match by tombstoning Hogan.
okay. So just to give the audience at home what's going on, literally, it's just a top. The show, the channel is WrestleMania. Really good guys if you want your wrestling news. The show is this particular one is called The 10 Biggest Lies Hulk Hogan Has Ever Told. Okay, and this is number 4. And it's just very short cuts to the actual match itself and what's going on. And even we literally just saw for maybe 1 second, and JD pointed it out, his head was nowhere near the chair. Nowhere
Near the chair or the mat.
So let's listen on.
Right onto a chair. But according to Hogan, The Undertaker caused severe damage to his neck when the dead man performed a tombstone on him. The Undertaker actually believed that he had hurt Hogan with the move, which naturally impacted his confidence moving forward. When The Undertaker was rewatching the match back, he
Right. Now they have a still image of the actual shot. Okay. Hulk Hogan's head is firmly placed in the crotch of the Undertaker. It's not hanging, it's not to the side, it's not turned around, it's not up his ass, but it most of the time should be. There is no way. There is a good, I'm gonna say 6 to 8 inches from Hogan's head to the chair.
Yeah, it's not anywhere close to the chair.
Nowhere
Even
near
to the
it.
mat.
No, so you know what, Guy, I think I've answered your questions, but on this last part, I'm going to say this: bollocks. Hogan is a liar about so many things in his career. He is not a nice human being. Okay, if you literally do 2 seconds worth of research on him, you can find entire websites and videos just dedicated to the bullshit that he spins, and some of it is just quite frankly sick and obscene. When you tell people that a Make-the-Wish kid foundation kid wanted to come to SummerSlam and meet you, and halfway through like SummerSlam you went over and at the beginning you met the kid, and he's gonna die soon. You got to get in the ring and celebrate for him. And then, when he got to the ring and he looked for the kid, he couldn't see him. And then afterwards, he asked somebody, "Where was that kid, brother?" And they were like, "Oh, he died. He died." So, Hogan has to write a song. Just one night, him and Jimmy Hart are just sitting there. He has to write a song to dedicate to this kid. And I believe the song is called Another Hulkamaniac in Heaven. You can listen to that yourself on YouTube. Okay.
Okay.
So this was SummerSlam 92, he said. I was at SummerSlam 92.
You were.
I was there.
You were at
Hulk
Wembley.
Hogan did not wrestle on that card. Hulk Hogan wasn't even in England. England was where it was not even in the country. There was no kid. You got to be some sick fuck to turn around and make up something about a dying kid so you can sell songs. No, you're a disgusting human being. Go yourself. Done.
So Logan,
Yes.
we heard your response that you addressed this fan's concerns for. Wasn't concerns, it was his opinions. And you said you stand behind what you said.
I stand behind what I
You
said.
stand behind what you
Yeah,
said.
you know, another fact to this as well. The reason I stand behind this, you can probably talk to any wrestler from the mid 90s to now. And if they've ever even been in the presence of The Undertaker, they'll tell you he is the nicest, straight up guy there is. You know, he never starts trouble. My God, he was Wrestle Court's judge. That's how trusted he was.
Wrestler's Court, yeah.
Yeah. he
So
was judge.
I do want to say is I know you're not attacking this fan. That
No,
gave
no,
us
no,
his
no.
opinion. Okay.
Right,
Remember, this fan was responding to what you said.
Okay, so I put it like this, okay, right. Every person's going to look at every situation differently.
Yeah.
Okay, we can all look at a wrestling match and you know, what would be a great match for me might not be a good match for you. We all have our own opinions and things like that. Okay, but when it comes down to brass facts, that's what I just gave you. You can every answer I gave there, you can look up yourself, get it from the horse's mouth.
We just looked at what you just showed us, and you know, it was very obvious.
Yeah,
the
so
DJ saw it, you saw it. His head was nowhere near that chair. Okay,
nowhere.
so that's the evidence right there. But you know, I mean, so Azine, I mean, what we just looked at, and where did you say WrestleMania?
Yeah, at WrestleMania, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube channel, Instagram. They have everything.
Okay,
great little channel.
And what was it? Top lies of Hulk Hogan, or something like that. Okay.
10 lies of Hulk Hogan.
Okay.
It's the most erotic thing I've ever seen.